Okay.
You just play the song. How many times are you going to play it, please?
We're live now.
Okay. Hello, guys. Welcome to Get Into Tech 2022. Welcome to Get Into Tech 2022. It's a pleasure to have you around. If you are live, I'd like you to drop where you are joining in from. Just write in the comments where you are joining in from. It could be the country, it could be the state, it could be the town, the city. Just drop that in. Just drop that in. Welcome to Get Into Tech 2022. All right, so the Get Into Tech program is designed to help you get started in any of 12. Okay, I'm seeing Chisom Favor from Nigeria. Chisom, you're welcome. Welcome to the live session. I'm seeing Loretta, from Lagos, Nigeria as well. Just keep it coming. Let me know where you're joining in from. Like I said, the country, city, town, wherever, and all that. Now, the Get Into Tech program is designed to help you get started in tech. Right now, as a lot of persons. Ade Kemi from London, UK. Awesome, welcome, Kemi. I hope you have a great time. Right now, as we already know, tech is a new oil. Tech is a new oil. Tech is a new tool for wealth creation. But I show you that tech is much more than that, right? Tech is also the tool, right, to create and drive innovation in the world. Tech is that tool, is that means, is that medium to drive innovation, right? To drive innovation and solutions in the world, right? And that is why even in this current season or time we're in, there's that call, right? It is training everywhere. Come into tech, join tech, right now. So the Get Into Tech program is designed to help you get started in tech. How? We will be bringing experts across 12 different skills or career paths in tech, right? And across 12 sections who are going to pour their hearts out, speak from years of experience, speak of some of these persons basically have built companies, have built systems, have built startups that are doing extremely well, around this career path. So we're going to bring them in to come and talk to you, share with you basically, how you can get, started in their, select career path, right? And, so the sessions basically are going to be very interactive. You're not going to come on and just listen to people and get bored. It's going to be very interactive. You're going to have room to ask questions and all that, right? So without wasting more time, today's session is for product management. Now, for some of you who are listening to me right now, you probably have never heard about product management, right? For some other persons, you have heard about it, right? Product management or product managers basically are one of the most important persons, right? Or it's one of the most important skill sets in tech today, right? All the top companies, basically Microsoft, Google, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and all these companies basically right? Most of the innovation, right? For example, Google has many products. Google has Gmail, Google has YouTube, Google has so many products, right? Those products were built and were managed by persons called product managers, right? And so product management is one very, very important skill set in tech today, right? That is becoming more and more in demand. If you check LinkedIn, for example, check Glassdoor, check whole of other career platforms, opportunity platforms, right? There's more demand for product managers, right? So I'm not going to be the one to talk about this. That is going to be done by the person of Richards Iyoha-Osagie, right? Richards Iyoha-Osagie. He is a product manager with over 6 year experience, with over 6 year experience in the fintech space. That is within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. Basically, he's worked in companies such as AppZone. He's worked in eTransact. He worked in Agile Tech. He's worked in Carbon, and currently he works as product manager, at Brand International. And so, OJ, welcome to our session tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, it's good to have you. It's good to have you. And we have quite a number of persons online, and who want to learn from your world of experience. With respect to product management, right? So, as you already know, we're going to treat everyone as a newbie. Right, so you are good. What will be shared, it will be broken down, to as simple as possible for even those who have never had to understand what product management is all about. So we're looking at what is product management, who are product managers, what do they do. From there we're going to go to how can you start out from ground zero, or from being a newbie to becoming a product manager who is locally relevant and also globally relevant, right? So for the next 25 minutes, 30 minutes, you have the floor to just speak and all that, and then we'll go into question and answer. So you have the floor. Please just flow.
All right, thank you so much, Glory, for hosting me. This is quite an opportunity and a privilege, and I'm quite grateful. Welcome everybody. Just a brief about me. My name is Richards. I have about 7 years of experience in product management. And as most product managers will tell you, nobody ever said, when I grow up, I want to be a product manager. Product management is relatively very new. I would say maybe about 10 to 12 years old. It's a new career path. And that has come because of the global age that we're in right now. Like Glory mentioned, the trends of innovation have changed. The speed of innovation has also changed, and this is why you have different sort of careers evolving. So we most likely in the next 10 to 15 years, you may not have a lot of young people passionate about being doctors or lawyers or engineers as we had many years ago, because times have changed. The world is rapidly changing, and with that, new careers have evolved, like product management. So I started off as a business analyst at AppZone, and then I had the privilege to transition to product management at eTransact. And I'm sure some of us may have heard of eTransact. They pretty much provide financial services to the underbanked, and they also have services that allow for switching of financial transactions. I don't want to go into details of that, but yes, that was primarily where I kicked off. And some of the things I'm going to share with you today are things that I learned not just in eTransact, but in all the other places I've had to work. And I've done a lot of hopping in the industry. And I think the advantage for me is that I've had like a very opportunity to learn a lot in different places, build different sort of products. And yeah, let me just stop there and just move on. I know a lot of us will have many questions. I'm going to try and be very practical as possible. So I will be giving practical tips, because I don't just want to talk and then everybody just goes and there's nothing you can really pick, right? So I have some points I will just very quickly run through. So we're talking about product management, and the question is to get down to the very basics. What is a product? What is a product? And in my own definition, I define a product as something that is tangible or intangible that provides value to the end user or to the customer. My definition, a product is something that is tangible. Pizza is tangible. That's a product. Capri Sun, sorry, I'm just thinking wildly here, is a product. A BMW car is a product. This computer that I'm using is a product. It's a tangible product. Tangible because you can hold it, you can feel it. Now, an intangible product, an example of an intangible product are things like services. For instance, many of us here probably use GT Mobile. Let me use that as a very good example. That's mobile banking. Maybe not GT, but your mobile banking application. Your mobile banking application is a product, but it's intangible. You can't touch GT Mobile, for instance, right? You will say, oh, well, I'm interacting with you with my phone. What you're touching is your device, which is a product in itself. Your phone, your iPhone, your Samsung, that is a device, a product, which is different from GT Mobile, which is a mobile app, which is providing financial services to you, right? So that's the best way I can define a product. Now, the truth is, I was doing some research and I found out that product management has existed for us for as long as.
Try using your phone on my phone. Okay, what's up with your phone?
Gloria, you're saying something. Okay, I'm just going to go on. So for as long as products have existed, we've always had product managers. So from when Ford, the car, the popular SUV Ford, existed, where you have to assemble things at an assembly line for the car and all of that, that's a tangible product. Now, what's happening is that you have people who, and that's taking me to the next definition of who product managers are, people who coordinate or facilitate everything that needs to be done to ensure that that product is launched and delivers value. That is my own definition of product management. I'm just going to construct my little note to be sure that's, yeah. So coordinating, facilitating, executing, or implementing whatever needs to be done to ensure that a product goal or product objectives are met. So we have product managers, and many people, in fact, that transition to product managers have actually always been product managers, but never had the title product manager, right? They have different titles, right? So, some people say that the product manager is the CEO of the product, the owner of the product. In real life, that is not always the case because you work in a company and you have an actual CEO who a lot of times may drive the features or the product that is being built. But that's a different case entirely. But the idea is that I want us to understand is I've defined what the product is: tangible, intangible. So don't let us be skewed towards tech because this is what we're talking about. But the tech space, everything tech. Product managers are typically known for building digital products and all of that. But there are tangible products that also need product managers, right? Even though they won't call them product managers, they probably have. All right. So I'll just continue then. All right. So one of the things that I want to also define is who product managers are. So basically, product managers are people that carry out product management tasks. That's the task of coordinating. I'll go into some very quick details. The task of coordinating, facilitating, implementing, executing whatever needs to be done. I'll give you an example. A company wants to provide a service. This is an intangible service now that allows people to send money to within African countries. I.e., example is you want people to be able to send money from Nigeria to Ghana. So send it in Naira and the recipient will get it in cedis, right? This is a fintech border payment, and I think Cheaper Cash is trying to do something like that. Another thing, if you're going to be in tech, you need to be very much abreast with almost every single product that is shipped. And I'll give some ways you can do that. You need to know what is happening in the tech space because that is where your opportunity might lie, either for a partnership or either for even a job or for a job opportunity or for an internship, whatever. So you need to be abreast with what's going on in the tech space. And I'll give some clues more later. So let's do this. Let's say, for instance, you want to launch a product that allows people to send money cross-border transactions within Africa. Now, one of your metrics can be, I want to ensure that every month I have 100,000 successful transactions from people. That's successful transactions, meaning that you have people that are moving money from Naira to Ghanaian recipients. That is a good example of what a metric, and I'm already getting ahead of myself here, but yes, we're there already, of what a metric is. As a product manager, everything that you're doing, I'll go into more details, is coordinated towards achieving that. So you need to build an infrastructure to do that. You need to create the interface, how people interact with it. You need to do integrations with different companies to power that. All of that is what a product manager facilitates, right? So, don't worry, if you have questions, please just take note of them. I'm very happy to clarify and you'll give more light to certain things. I just want to run through very quickly so I will have enough time for questions. So what are some tactical things that product managers do? Now, one of the most tactical things that they do, one of them is defining product vision or strategy or a roadmap. So as a product manager, one of the things that I'm responsible for is to say, hey, what is it that I'm trying to, what problem am I trying to solve? That in essence is what is like the underlying question for every product manager when they are building a digital product. Now, I've skewed to intangible services of a product, right? So we're looking at tech products that you can't necessarily feel with your hands. Now, when you're building a tech solution or a tech product as a product manager, right, one of the things that is underlying in your head is what is the problem that needs to be solved? And how am I sure that whatever solution I'm proposing is solving this problem? That is your driving force on how you attack or how you facilitate, coordinate, and implement or execute whatever it is that you need to do. So you have a product vision, you have defined what the problem is. Okay, this is the problem that I've seen. I have validated that this problem is worth solving, and it's not just a problem in my head, because I've seen that happen a lot of times where you have a light bulb moment and it's just you or a few people in your circle that actually have that problem. Now, a product manager is not building a product for themselves. They're building it for customers who need that value. So you have to evaluate to say, this thing that I think is a problem, is it actually a problem? And you validate it with people who potentially use this product before you say, okay, yes, now it's worth my time and effort and energy to invest into solving this problem. That's simply validating that the problem is worth solving. And then you create, your roadmap. Roadmap in simple terms is this: in the next 3 months or 4 months, this is what I want to achieve. What are those little pieces that I need to have, like those milestones that I need to get to help me think it? Yes, you have people that do roadmap that like for 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. But in essence, a roadmap just helps you to identify those little milestones. You have an overall goal, but those little milestones that are spaced over certain time periods that help you to get to where you ought to. Simply what a roadmap is. So as a product manager, you get to define this roadmap, because you're the one who has the overarching vision of whatever problem you're trying to solve in most cases, right? Another thing that a product manager does is to gather requirements gathering and prioritization, right? There are so many things you want to. Let me pick an example. If you want to, I've built a lot of mobile banking applications, so that's what comes to mind. You want to build a mobile banking application today from ground zero, right? And this is probably a very good example. And you say, okay, I want to build a mobile banking application that allows people to send money from their bank accounts to other beneficiaries that are of the same bank. That's a requirement. I want my mobile banking application to allow people to send money from their bank account to beneficiaries that are not of the same bank. I want my customers who are using my mobile banking app to be able to send money from their bank accounts to people that are in different countries, let's say in African countries. Then 4 could be to countries outside of Africa. This is just a very rough example here. Now, as a product manager, you need to define. You're assuming that you have done you have done your ideation and you have done your validation, and this is a problem that needs to be solved. Then you need to prioritize, and that's where the roadmap will come in. Okay, in an agile fashion, typically many years before now, you had the waterfall. There's waterfall model of implementing or of building a solution, and then there's agile. So everything I'm talking about today is the agile because that is what works and that's what's trending right now in building software products. The waterfall model says these four things I mentioned, take 1 year and build it out and then launch it by December 2022. Now, and that's a very exaggerated example. The disadvantage of that is by December 2022, maybe the trend or the trend would have changed, and people don't need to send money via a mobile app to people outside of the country or to other banks. Maybe there's now a brand new way of doing transfers. Now, your solution that you'll spend the whole year to build is outdated, and then you've just wasted time, effort, resources, and there's nothing to show for it. Now, the agile methodology, most companies, when you hear of the top, all the top company, the top tech companies, Google, Apple, all of them, even in Nigeria, most of the fintech companies, what you see is that it's agile. You say, okay, you want to build a mobile banking application that allows people to send money. You say, okay, what are the what are the steps what are the features that allow me to bring this product to the customer? So you want to pay mobile banking app. You don't want the first thing, these customers need to be able to onboard, they need to register. So you can say, I'm going to spend the month of January to create a module that allow people to onboard, and maybe that's register for the product, and maybe allow them to be able to send money to beneficiaries that are in their bank. Let me use GT for instance. To onboard on GT one, and then allow them to do transfers to only GT customers to begin with. Now, this is a very rough and crude example. Now, your effort is to go and make that happen, and I can talk more about that. So all the logistics, all the integration that you need to do, all the things you need to build to get that done. But as a product manager, you're concerned with January ending comes, you launch that. Now, a success metric. Can customers onboard on your app? Yes, they can onboard. Can they perform a transfer? Yes, but only to people that are GT transactions, for instance. You scoped it, you have talked with all the stakeholders, engineers, your marketing team, your sales team, engineers are people that write the code, right? You have spoken with all of them and you found out that this is what this time frame. You launch it. So in 6 months, you will find that you have launched is what's called iterative development. You're gradually releasing features to the public, to your customers, and not all at once. So you're doing it gradually, and they're getting value. If your product or your solution does not provide value, you are wasting your time as a product manager.
Okay, guys. Big apologies for that. So our speaker is having internet issues basically, and he will be back in a few
Hello,
seconds.
can you hear me?
Okay, he's back. He's back now. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back.
So sorry about that. I had no idea that I was gone for a while. Where did I stop, please? Or where did you hear me last?
Where you said that if your product is not useful to the customer, it is.
Right. Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Loud and clear.
All right, great. Yeah, so I was saying basically, sorry about that, guys. So I was saying that your product is pretty much useless to a customer if it doesn't provide value, and that's something that as a product manager you must always have, as I don't want to say at the back of your mind. That's something that's always be on your mind when you are thinking through a solution, right? Um, so I was about to mention that the product management role is a cross-functional role. What that means is that you are providing value, you're providing value not in isolation. You're doing it with stakeholders. Some key stakeholders are engineers. Now, engineers in software parlance are not people that are mechanical engineers or civil engineers. That's the term that we use. And typically, there are people that write code in simple terms, right? People that implement, what you have, what product it is that needs to be built. So you work with engineers a lot. As a product manager, you must have good relationship with your engineers, whether front end, back end, engineers, because they're the ones that are going to implement whatever it is that you have, whatever it is that you're building. You also work with a team, maybe customer success team, right? It depends on the organization that you're in. These are the people who will be interfacing with the customers even much more, maybe to handle support issues and all of that. You work with the design team. Now, design team is very key. These are the people that you hear are called product designers or UI UX, user interface, user experience. So if you're building a mobile app, for instance, since we're using that example, what you will find is that when you have scoped out how this mobile app is going to work, somebody is going to actually have to design what it will look like and how people are going to experience it. So typically, you work very closely with your product design person, because you cannot do it in isolation, right? And you shape the experience of your product. And if you are not flowing with that person, that will be very problematic. Product management is a science and an art as well. You have learned that you need to be very empathetic, this is very understanding, because you're working with a lot of stakeholders, and if one stakeholder is not cooperating, it could completely ruin everything you're trying to do. So you need to have the sense to know how to work with these people, right? And you also need that cooperation, because as a product manager, one thing I will tell you is that you do not know everything. There's so much insight that you will get from your back-end engineer on what you're trying to build that you will never have known if you didn't have a conversation with them. One of the things that I've learned to do is to always carry my engineers along, even my designers along, because, and even customer success, I would say, because there's so many things that I may not think of when I'm thinking through how a product is going to work or how a product will solve a problem, that the back-end engineer will tell me, see, this is how you're thinking about it, but hey, look at it this way. In reality, when we're going to implement it, this is where we're going to have a challenge technology-wise. And truth is, as a product manager, sadly, you have to work within the confines or constraints of your company's infrastructure. In simple English, what resources your company has available. And that's what I've learned. So you may have big dreams that you want to build the next Amazon, right? But your company doesn't have the infrastructure to host it. So it's a good idea, but maybe you have to find a way to iteratively build and begin to deliver value, little bits of value gradually. And then maybe a time will come when they can scale to that sort of infrastructure. Right. So I just want to mention, Glory, just a little check here. Can you hear me? I want to make sure that my host can hear me before I continue.
Yeah, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Just go on. Yeah, we can.
All right. How much time do I have left?
5 minutes. Then we go to 5 minutes. Then we go to something interactive. I know our viewers right now have a lot of questions. I have questions as well, and all that for the newbie questions, basically. So 5 minutes.
All right. I'm going to just wrap up very quickly. So in essence, what I just want to mention, I want to just read a quote that I saw from someone called Cliff Giley. He's a senior product manager, and he says, sales is focused on selling. Marketing is focused on lead generation and branding. Support is focused on resolving individual customer issues. The CEO is focused on funding. All of these people have agendas that aren't focused on the broader vision of the customer and the market. Product management is often the only role that collects and can present an independent view of what the customer and what the market needs. And I just wanted to mention that just to show the value that product management adds, and we can ask more questions about this. But something I want to move to very quickly is, how do I move from a newbie someone that doesn't have any background in product management at all to a product manager. I'm going to put it in very simple terms. Like I told my wife some days back, follow who know road. In essence, follow the people that have the experience. Mentorship is what I'm really getting at. Because the truth is, I know that it's a challenge for a lot of people trying to get into tech roles. I talk to and I actually mentor a lot of aspiring PMs, right? And so they just reached out to me randomly, and I'm very happy to. The challenge that they have is many companies are not willing to hire interns. They need people who can hit the ground running, right? So what you need is that you need some sort of you need to prove to an interviewer that you have built a product from product ideation to launch. If you can do that, you most likely may have a shot, even if you just one that you did, right? Someone who is interviewing for a product management intern can say, okay, this is someone that doesn't have any experience, but at least has gone through the product life cycle from ideation to validation to implementation to writing your product requirement documents, PRDs, to doing roadmaps, to doing competitive analysis, to implementing, to working with designers to come up with your designs, to launch, and all of that, right? So if you have done that once, right, when you're going for an interview and you're being asked questions, many of the interviews that I've had, prior to my recent role at Branch, and even during my interview at Branch, 6 stages of interview, it was quite thorough, the longest I went through. And one of the things they're getting at is they want to know if you've built a product before. And the truth is that you cannot lie about it, right? You have very experienced product managers who are listening to what you're saying, and there's anything they need to hear. And you only know those things if you have built a product before, or you've launched it, even if it's a feature, right? As long as you've launched something from ideation to the end, you must have done that. You need to do that. And the thing about mentorship is that in some cases, first thing you have is that understanding of product management, all the I's, all the T's, all the little things that you need to know about building a product. And then you may have a chance to some of these mentors, if they have side gigs or jobs, they can just say, okay, you just handle this. That's your shot. And that's why mentorship is important. Also, maybe you're going for interviews and you need someone to sort of prep you. I've done that for several people before. And you have someone to talk with or someone who can guide you through preparation, right? But in essence, you need the opportunity to prove that you've built something. There are also certain platforms, right? Utiva is one, UTIVA. Another one is called Product Dive. Now, these companies provide training services for product managers that pretty much allow you to learn. They'll take you to the basics, everything you need to know about being a product manager. And then typically you have a capstone project. That's the opportunity I'm talking about to actually build a product. And then some of them can actually help to hook you up for internships and all of that, which is great. So that's another one. Another thing I want to mention is you need to be active on Twitter. I'm specific about not just social media, Twitter. Twitter has turned out to be, to be very interesting. What could help, I'm not saying you have to do it, is to sort of look at some people that I follow. Now, this is not something that you must do, but one of the things I've used my Twitter for is to deliberately follow some of these people so that I know what's happening in the tech space. I follow people that, like, for instance, CEO of Kuda, Cheaper Cash, some of these people, right, that pretty much run the fintech space. And some people even work in fintech as well. This is how you can be aware. You'll be so surprised that you just see some of them saying, I'm looking for a product management intern. That's the opportunity. Get into your DMs immediately, right? So be active on Twitter in particular. LinkedIn, yes, create your profile, be there, but on Twitter, especially for product management, follow product management pages on Twitter, and be active there. What you will find is that you begin to be abreast of what's going on in tech space in Nigeria and probably even globally, right? And opportunities could just be lying in wait for you there. I would say subscribe to Tech Cabal. Tech Cabal is also where I get most of my tech news as what's going on, not only in Nigeria, but outside of the country. So these are not sponsored ads, by the way. Please, they're just things that I personally do that help me to be informed. And they send mails. Tech Cabal send mails like I think almost every day. Yes, with a summary of what's going on in tech space locally and globally. And that way you find that you're abreast of what's going on. And most of the time they even post job openings, right? That help you to, shoot your shot, as it were. So this is about what I can say about this. I hope that this has been very helpful. I think when you have questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them, and then maybe that will help to clarify a lot of things. I didn't have enough time, Glory, but it's fine. All right, thank you all.
Yeah, thank you so much. I understand the thing about time, because it's crazy when you have to take like 6 years of experience and compress that into 20 minutes and all that. So I heard when you're speaking about all the technical things, and I really feel like there's a number of persons in the audience who might be lost, right? So guys, use the comments. Were you lost in the last 30 minutes? I want to know, right? Because I want to help you. How? I'm going to now ask very pointed questions, right? Coupled with the questions you guys also have. And those questions would require just simple answers that will be straight to the point, which, and all that stuff. So guys, leave your questions in the comments. I know that amongst those of you online, there are aspiring product managers, right? So leave your questions. He's touched a lot of things, right? He's talked about the process involved in creating a product, right? From the ideation to the research, and all that, user requirements. So leave your questions in the comments, and they'll be treated. So you talked about many things, and now the first thing I want to ask is, can anybody become a product manager? Now, let me give some quick background to that. And the question is, can anybody become a product manager? And when I say anybody, I mean in spite of your background. I mean, in secondary school, for example, the Nigerian system, how it is. So in the senior secondary class, you have to choose, between going to the science department, or I think the law. Is it law now? Science. We have science. We have the accounts. I'm mixing it up, right? But then, so can anybody become a product manager in spite of background? In spite, because something that happens in tech a lot is the word pivoting. A lot of people pivot from other fields. So you see somebody who's a fashion designer and wants to go into tech. You see somebody who is, doing some other thing and wants to go into tech. So can anybody become a product manager? That's, the first question.
As all of you know on this call, you already know the answer to this question. I'm going to say it. Yes, anybody can be product manager. What you would typically see, and what I typically see in the space, is that you have, like I said earlier as a joke, no one ever said, "Oh, I want to be a product manager when I grow up." No, absolutely, because that was not even a thing at the time. Anybody can. I know people who read economics who are currently product managers. People who read industrial chemistry are product managers. I'm currently mentoring someone that is a lawyer who's switching to product management. So if you read music, it's not that music is bad, or if you read Yoruba, you can be a product manager. There's no limits whatsoever. Right.
Amazing, awesome. So anybody can become a product manager. Now, next question I have while we wait for questions from the audience is, if you were to summarize like in a few words, and with steps, right, the pathway to go from, so for example, now, like you said, your last example, I read music, right? And then, maybe I have worked in that industry for the last 4 or 5 years, but now I want to go into tech. I want to be better equipped, and all that stuff to, for innovation, all that stuff, right? So can you give a summary, step by step, what I should do, and possibly with time duration, right? I don't know if you did get the question. So step by step, I want to pivot, right? So maybe for the first 3 months, do this. For the next 6 to 9 months, do this and all that stuff. Just like a quick, roadmap.
Okay, so very quickly, one of the first things that you need to do, right? You have, from what I would suggest, there are 2 parts here. One is find a mentor. someone that is very experienced in product management that can handhold you in that process. And one of the things that this mentor should be doing, or the expectations you should have, is that this person should take you through the basics of product management, pretty much run you through every single thing you need to know as a product manager, and probably also guide you through a project that helps you to practice all those things that he has taught you. That's one route. The other route is to join some of those institutions that I mentioned, right? So that would advise to many people that are just trying to pivot. Go to Product Dive. You have a course for people that want to transition to become product managers. It's a 6 weeks course, I think. It's paid. The same thing with Utiva. It's paid. It's an investment in yourself. So even with the mentors, some mentors may require paid mentorship, and I don't want you to ever see that as a problem. It's an investment to your career. It's like it's like going to school to go and learn something. You pay school fee, that sort of thing, right? So Utiva, Product Dive, you pay for it, and they will take you through the basic principles, run you through implementing or launching a product, so that you have that experience. Some of them even go the extra mile. I think Product Dive does that to match you with certain companies that are looking for product interns, and that's how you can kick off. Those are very practical ways that you can actually get started.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Awesome. But can you? Okay. Well, from your experience, how long possibly, like a range, that this, might take? Yeah.
Well, I would say it depends on the individual and the path that they have taken. So, I would say depending from anywhere from 6 months, right? You could be ready for your first internship role. For me, as long as you have actually got to build some, even if it's a feature that allows people to buy airtime, right? That's a feature of in a product. As long as you've built something, because at the end of the day, you can't say you're a product manager when you've not built it. Even as a product manager intern, you should have done something, at least something, right? You have written a PRD, a product requirement document. You have worked with engineers, you've collaborated with them in some manner, right? So I would say maybe between 6 months to a year, depending on the path you're taking. But the idea is you should be able to have built something, right?
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. That's really clarifying. We have a question from Loretta, which I'm sure you can see on the screen. What are the basic? Yeah. What are the basic certifications or licenses needed to begin the path of a product manager?
So for product management, thank you very much, Loretta, for this question. So for product management, it's not like many other disciplines. Product management is still fairly new. I would say it's not even up to 20 years, right?
Oh, wow.
There is one certification called Certified Product Manager. It's a Certified Product Manager, that's certification, right? The truth is that many good PM that I know haven't even bothered to do it. For instance, I was thinking about it, but the thing about product management, especially in the tech space has really defined how we look at certifications and licenses. Like it's different from engineering, right? Where you need to do things like Amazon, like these Amazon certifications, right? Or Google Cloud, all of that is very different. Product management is not straight jacketed, like, okay, checkpoint, check, you must do this before you do this. It varies. I've worked in several companies and I've done product management in different ways, in 4 or 5 different ways. I've done product management in different ways. So there is no certificate that I would have taken that I would say helped me to become a product manager. What matters, right, as a product manager, I will emphasize on this is what have you built? That is honestly when you are going for interviews, and I've interviewed a lot of product managers. Even if you never had the product manager title, what I'm asking you is tell me something you built. Walk me through your thought process on how you felt there was a problem that needs to be solved and how you went about building it. Certifications will just ensure that you know the basic principles. If you want to, and I'm not discouraging it at all, if you want to, it's a certified product manager. I think it's a company called AIPMMI. I think that's the body that hosts it, right? I know many people that have done certifications, and so people do certifications, and to be honest, it had added absolutely no value to them in real life, in terms of you can have a certification but not built a product, and it doesn't make any sense to the interviewer. So yes,
Okay.
that's what I would say about that.
Basically, okay. Awesome. Now, before we ask the next question, I have a very interesting question, which I have gotten a number of
Right.
times, right? And
Right.
it's something, and the question is simple. What is the difference? A lot of people mistake project management for product management and vice versa, right?
Right.
So what is the difference between project management and product management? That's the first question. Then the next question is, now in your last, answering the last question about certifications, you mentioned that the most important thing is the question, what have you built? So I have a question then, that is, what are the different things that an aspiring product manager can build, like digital products, can build digital products and non-digital products. What are the different products that an aspiring product manager can build that would count for something? I don't know if you get that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yes,
two
I do.
questions.
So
Yeah. So difference. Okay, go on. Just go on. Yeah.
okay, yeah, I got it. So the first one is project management and product management. So I'm a certified project manager. I got my PMP. This was many years ago from the PMI
amazing.
Institute, right?
Okay.
So now, because I was a project manager / business analyst when I first started. That's how I started off my career in tech. Now, I'm now a product manager. The difference really is a project works with three very basic principles. There must be scope, there is time, and there is cost. Scope, what is being delivered, what solution is being delivered. Time, there's a time frame. It's going to take from when you create your project plan from January to March. Cost, there's something that you're paying for, like the cost of getting it done. I think those are the three basic pillars on which project management will typically withstand. Now, as a project manager, my work begins when I initiate the project. We're going to do the itemize what we're going to get done. This is how long it's going to take. This is how much it's going to cost. Launch. Once I have delivered my solution, I move on to the next project. That's all for me. Now, for product management is very different because as a product manager, you are also a project manager a lot of times. But the difference is that your work starts from ideation or what I call problem discovery. A project manager is not bothered about the problem. Someone comes to the PMO office, this is what we want to build. I, as a project manager, will just go and start trying to get requirements from you. I'll put in a document, I'll create timelines and implement. A product manager goes beyond all of that. A product manager is going to say, okay, why do you want to do what you want to do? Let's validate that these assumptions that you have are true. Let us do market analysis. Let's do competitive analysis. A project manager is not concerned with that. Now, when a product manager is done with that, does documentation, just like a project manager will, of course, create timelines for, like I said, sprints, iterative releases of how things will go in an agile fashion. Creates metrics. This is something that a project manager does not do. Metrics are pretty much saying, when I launch this product on this day or this feature on this day, track that product is successful. Right? How will I track that this product is successful? So it could be on launch, we have 100,000 successful transactions. That is a metric. So now that's a metric that I keep in my mind on launch. On the day we launch, 1 month after, if I don't have that metric, then that's a problem. Product manager's work doesn't ever end. It continues. So when the solution is launched, the product manager doesn't just go and sit down. The product manager continues because you need to monitor your metrics to be sure that what you have launched makes sense. And if you and even get customers from your feedback from your customers, and that's something that as a product manager you must do. Okay, we have launched this product. Why are you not using it? Is there a problem? You begin to look at your analytics and begin to figure out what has gone wrong and what works and what didn't work. And then what you find is that you now have feedback to go back to start the entire product life cycle again. You may get new ideas from the feedback of what you have just launched. That, okay, so this didn't work out. This is interestingly something that customers want. Now let's go and build it. Let's validate the assumptions. Let's build. So at the end of the day, we now go through the entire cycle again. That is different between product management and project management. Project managers work ends when the solution is launched. That's the end. A product manager's job continues post-launch. And those activities that the product manager will do will inform whether he needs to go in or she needs to go to iterate and say, okay, these are 3 things that we have found. You need to scrap this, we need to add this too. Now let's take it back. Let's validate this assumption. Let's build it out. you go through, define what your metrics are, launch. You will definitely find things to improve. And that's why in companies like Google, Facebook, you have product managers that are, in fact, you have several product managers for YouTube, not just one.
Wow.
And you
Yeah.
have product managers that handle different features. You have product managers for Gmail, not just even one, like many product managers, right? And they are
Yeah.
going through this cycle individually on those different features iteratively, right? So that's different between project and product management. With regards, sorry, Gloria, I mean, I've lost track of the second question. I was just
Yes.
talking
Okay.
away.
Okay. Yeah. So the question was, you said that the most important thing for an aspiring product manager is for you to build something,
Right,
or manage the building of something, right? And so my question was,
right.
what product, digital and or non-digital products, counts for something? Is it like websites, mobile applications, features? What digital products counts for something? For example, that you can boldly present in a job interview, a product manager in a role interview. What products count for something?
So, right, I understand that. So, what I would say is this: any digital product, like you mentioned, if it's the idea really is that you have adhered to the very basic principles. One,
Okay.
ideation, problem discovery. So if you're building a website that allows people to, I don't know, I building a website for whatever reason, I can't think of anything right now. You're going through
Okay.
basic principles. You have discovered the problem, number one, right? You have discovered the problem, number one, and you have found some sort of solution to that problem, right?
Okay.
And you have validated your assumptions. You probably created your roadmap for how this is going to work, how you're going to effectively release something, right? You probably had a document, a Google Doc that explains this is the problem I'm trying to solve. This is how I'm going to go about it. This is how it's going to add value. And then you have launched it. You defined what your metrics are, and you launched it. And you tracked that whatever you launch, whether it's the website, whether it's an app, whatever it is, the digital product, whether it was on the web, app, USSD, whatever, mobile app rather. That's what I meant to say, because app can be web or mobile. So that counts as something. If I'm going to interview you and you tell me that you built a website as a pro, I'm like, okay, what was your reasoning? What problem were you trying to solve? If you can't tell me that, then I'm wondering what you were trying to do, or what was your roadmap? What metric did you define to say that this was successful, right? Or that this your product will be successful? Did you meet your metrics, right? No, those sort of things, right? That is really what would count. And anyone who is interviewing someone that is a newbie to product management would really appreciate that, because that's a lot of initiative already. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. That was so insightful. We have,
right.
A lot of people like to wait for leads to send you questions, and so just catch your breath a bit. We have about 2-3 questions left, and then we can start to call it a wrap for today's session. It's been really, really enlightening. So we have a question here from Sukomi, right? Which is really critical. And I think I was going to come to that later on. As a product manager, do you need to so it's up on the screen. As a product manager, do you need to have a bit knowledge of other stakeholders' field to help you execute better? Now, let me just break that down for everybody else. Part of what Richards has said, product manager, as a product manager, you are sitting like in the middle of several other departments, right? Engineering, UI, UX, product design, marketing, and all of that stuff, basically. And so this question is saying, as a product manager, do you have to have maybe it's like some knowledge of UI, UX? Do you need to have some knowledge of code, of software development? Do you need to have some knowledge of marketing and all that stuff? And then to answer your question, I see that in a lot of product manager roles, right? Most companies, seem to have a preference for people with a technical background, right? They seem to have preference for people with a technical background that, maybe have experience, maybe you are able to code a bit, right? So that is related to this. So just shed light on that, basically.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Lori. So yes, I would say to a very large extent, it is helpful to have knowledge of other stakeholders like UI, UX, like what they do, their engineers. So I am privileged to I have a degree in computer science. I hated to code, by the way. Completely hated this. When I first started at AppZone, they made me to code, right? But I just knew that this was not meant for me. But I would say that those early beginnings were very rough for me because I had to work with engineers. And sometimes some engineers can take advantage of your ignorance of certain things and tell you, oh, this thing is going to take 5 weeks. And because I have some knowledge of some basic things, I could, we could have
Stand your
discussions.
ground.
Okay, no, why? Right. I'm like, okay. And I found I did that a lot, even till now. Well, I think now I don't really have to do that a lot anymore. But I would go into the code. Let's look at the code together. This is just, you're just making an API call here. It's not that deep. So when they know that, like when they know that you have some idea, it may not be all that thorough. I think they and actually that's how they get respect for you. There are some things that I honestly did not even understand, even though I had a degree in computer science. I must say I didn't even know. Those times were very painful for me because I knew that they were just boboing me, like we say. But I think the idea is over time, if you're privileged to get an experience to work in a company, right, as an intern, even if it's an unpaid internship, I would say take it because this is how you build your experience. When you have to work with a developer several times, you have to work with the UI UX person, a product designer severally over time, and you'll build different things. You'll build products on mobile apps, Android, iOS. So I have an idea when I'm going to build an iOS app. What are the expectations? How long is it going to take to learn? What are the requirements? I know that already because I've done that so many times. So that's the experience there. So yes, it is helpful. It doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be at a disadvantage if you don't have any knowledge. But I would say that it can help you to do your work much quickly. That's what I would say. So the only way you can get it is just by experience. And with regards, your question with companies referring to or requesting people that have a technical background. Yes, that happens a lot. In my own career, thankfully, that has never really been a thing where I had to learn how to code. So I've seen some of those adverts where they'll be like, you need to know how to code. I've not had to. I mean, I think the most I see is that okay, you must be able to write queries with SQL. But not all product manager roles may actually request for that because there are other teams that can handle it. It depends on the kind of company. Some companies have, like many of them have worked in, you have a data and analytics team that will typically handle all of those things for you. In some other cases, you as a product manager may want to just quickly write queries, just validate or verify something. So you will learn that. It's not hard, to be very honest. You don't need to have a degree in computer science to learn these things. But it depends on the context of where you work. So, like I said, anybody can get into tech. If you see such roles, still apply. That should not be a reason why you shouldn't. Because ultimately, it's if you can prove to an interviewer that you have the product sense, right? That is all that is required. Other things can be learned on the go.
Awesome. Right. So we will take 4 final questions. Just bear with me. I have your hat. I have the hat for the newbies, right? I want guys.
Very happy.
I want it to be thorough, right? So just 4 quick questions, but if it's possible to limit your answer to maybe just 2 minutes, so we can stay within time range and begin to wrap up, right? For the 4-minute question. So we have so there's a question from Adebayo. Let me just read it. Does a product the question is, does a project manager, but I'm going to assume that's a product manager. So first of all, for the person that asked this question, Sahid, you'd probably have the chance to watch this video again. There's a difference between a project manager and a product manager. We can't go back to that because of time. So the question is, does a product manager work remotely, or physically, of course? And can you work in more than one company at a time? That's a tricky question. But just in just 1 minute, answer that.
Can work in. Sorry, just 1 second. I think my internet is trying to.
Okay. Okay, guys, let's just wait a few seconds for his internet to come back. Guys,
hello.
How was the session? Okay, you're back. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Very quickly, yes. It depends on the company. There's no rule, right? There's no rule that product managers should only work from home. It depends on the company. I work at branch and we work from home. right? It's just how
Okay.
I've met it, and that's how they've operated. I've worked in many companies as a product manager where we had to come to the office or we had a hybrid. So it depends. Can one work in more than one company? Well, I would say it depends on whatever agreement you have with your employer. Some employers will say
Okay.
you're supposed to work in only one company, some others may not mind. So don't go and start looking for trouble because you can work remotely and then start working
Yeah.
for 3, 4, 5 different companies. Right. It depends on whatever you have in your contract. But yeah, that's how that I'll answer my answer to those questions.
Awesome. Now to the next question. This is from Chidima. Are there books on product and management that I can read? Now, before you answer that, guys, stay till the end. Still to the end. We're getting close to the end. There's an offer for those who are serious about learning, product management and becoming a product manager before the end of the year. There's a very serious offer. Stay to the end to learn what that offer is. And actually, the offer is just for 2%. 2%. So stay to the end, right? So you can answer this now. Are there books on product management that I can read? That's the question.
Yeah, there are a couple. Sorry, I don't have any like off the top of my head. I think I can always share with Gloria and I can put it on Telegram group. I think a Telegram
Okay,
group, right?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't have yes, there are books that, and yes, reading of books can be very, very helpful. It's good to read because you should have that baseline understanding or thorough understanding of the principles before you get your
Okay.
hands dirty. So yes, I don't have any at top of my head right now, but I will share.
Okay, awesome. So Chidima, the books will be shared to me and I'll put them in the group. Ensure you are in the Telegram group. So you can benefit from that. The next question, real quick. Yes, this is another crucial one. Just as quickly as possible. What is the difference between product management and program management?
So, in essence, program management simply is a collection of different projects in one.
Okay.
Projects that have similar objectives, right? That's what program management is. At least I remember that one from my PMP training. So you have, and then after program management, there's portfolio management. Those are like the 3 different levels: project,
Categories,
program, portfolio. So
Portfolio,
now that I've explained that, I think I've already said the answer to this before. It's pretty much the same thing. You have categories of projects that have similar objectives. So it could be you're trying to, maybe the objective of the program is to increase number of people that, or rather, yeah, maybe increase, or still not coming to my head right now. But the idea really,
no problems.
so basically the idea is that you have similar projects that point to one objective.
Okay.
Collection of execution of all those projects will help you achieve an objective. That's a program. So that's what it is really. So I've already explained product management and how. So program management still works with a time, from this to this, right? You have beginning to end, time zone, time frame, now all of that. A product manager is concerned with the entire life cycle, end to end, iteratively. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. Awesome, right? So program management, combination of several projects, basically, right? And then product management standing on its own. So we have this question from Samuel. How do I get certified? Samuel, that has been answered. You can, that's been answered because of time. You can check out Utiva, right? You can check out product. What did you call the other one? Product what?
Product Dive.
Product Dive. I think we also have a platform called Product School. Have you heard about that?
Yes, there's Product School as well. That's international. These are Nigerian, like local Product School, but Product School.
Okay, so we have Utiva and Product Dive, which are local platforms, and then we have Product School, which is an international platform. So check those out. Basically, if I get happy, I'm going to put it in the group. But one of the things that this training is supposed to do is help you also be committed to your own growth, right? So just do a Google search. Utiva is a pretty popular indigenous company in Nigeria and all that. They're doing a whole lot of really cool things. Product Dive, check out Product School as well for certifications. Then we have a final question, and then we can call it a wrap. Okay, someone has a question for can you train me? Yes. So like I said, stay to the end, and you're gonna get your answer. Stay to the end, you're gonna get your answer. We had a final question I saw somewhere. I think that's all the questions we have. Yes, there's a final question. From Loretta again. Loretta, that's 2 questions. It means you've been really on. Thank you. So real quick, what tools are required to build? Do I require a software or an app? So I think the question is asking, what are the tools you use in the course of product management? What are the tools you use as a product manager, right? So just talk about that 2 minutes, and then we're done, and then we can wrap up.
Okay, so tools in essence, we're chopping for a bit. So just basically tools that I use, right? Okay, tools required to build. Okay. So it really depends. So like I said, the product manager cannot build anything in isolation to a very large extent. There are tools that I know that you can use to build. If you maybe just want to validate an assumption, you can quickly use web forms or no, yeah, you can create something very quickly on the web. So sorry that I'm not sticking to my head right now. But I'm speaking to in a company when you want to build something, or because typically you want to build something, key people you need are you need engineers, you need designers, right?
Okay.
So designers will bring to life whatever it is that you have in your head, like in terms of creating an interface. The engineer, people that will write the code and the logic that will make it to work the way you intend it to. So tools as a product manager that I use are tools for documentation and prototyping, and also for task management. So tools that I use, a product manager communicates. In my company, we use Slack for communication. We use Google Meet for communication as well. We all Zoom. I also use a tool for prototyping called draw.io. It's a web tool. I'll probably just put it in the chat if that's possible, my private chat here. It's called draw.io. And that tool is a tool that I use for prototyping. When I am trying to just put out a sketch of what something is going to look like, I use draw.io, right? Then I use draw.io is what I use for prototyping. I use Google Docs. There are several tools that I use for just writing documentation.
Even Microsoft Word, for example, can be a tool as well.
Word, right? You can look for product management. You can use any tool. There is no rule. That's the any tool that helps you to communicate. Slack. You can even use Skype. There's no rule. I use I was also something, but it left my head right now. So those are the some tools I use. Draw.io for prototyping, and then documentation is what. And then yes, I use I've used Jira before for task management. You say, okay, I want to do mobile banking app. Here are the tasks that are required from the engineers to get it done. And then you attach, you can tag people in it, and the engineers can pick up a ticket from there to begin to work. So yes.
Okay.
Those are some tools that I use.
Awesome. Awesome. Fantastic. No more questions, guys. Richard has talked, and I mean all that. He has the rest of it. No more questions. Thank you so much. This has been really phenomenal, right? The really cool thing about this is, as our audience is learning, of which we've had like over 40 people online. Basically, we had like over 50 and all that. As audience is learning, I'm also learning a whole lot. Basically, this has been fantastic. Thank you for breaking down demystifying the product management field. Like you said, it is relatively new, and a whole lot of things are coming up in it, but there is not perhaps so much known about it yet, right? Now, before I talk about the final thing, before we wrap up, guys, if you have learned anything, please, I want you to use the fire emoji. Drop the fire emoji in the comments. Let's go. I would wait till I see 20. Okay, let me 15 fire emojis before I go on. Drop the fire emoji in the chats if you have gotten anything, right? If this class has been so beneficial, drop the fire emoji. Let's go. While they are doing that, somebody asked basically for you to drop your social media handles so they can follow you. Just for example, as you mentioned, for example, that people should go follow people who are into tech and who are doing a whole lot so they can be up to date with tech trends, right? So can you just, I know you're not active on a number of platforms. I know you're not active on Facebook, for example. I know you're also active on Instagram. I know your primary platform is LinkedIn and maybe Twitter as well. So just call out your handles, and that's going to be typed and dropped for people to see. So what's your, how can you connect it to you on LinkedIn, for example?
So yeah, on LinkedIn it's just Richards Iyoha-Osagie. If you just search for that
Okay.
on LinkedIn, pop up.
That's LinkedIn.
On
Okay.
Twitter,
Richards
yeah,
Osagie-Iyoha.
yes,
Okay.
Richards Iyoha. So it's Richards with an S, Iyoha, Iyoha hyphen Osagie. It'll come up on
Okay.
LinkedIn. On Twitter is Richards It Is. Yeah. So it's here
Okay.
now. Richard, like it is Richard, like Richards It Is. Yeah, I'm on Twitter. So
Richard, it is. Oh, okay, guys. So guys, connect to him on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and all that stuff. To get to follow him basically, so you can be up to date. And all that. So I'm saying the fire emojis, guys. I'm saying the fire emojis, guys. It's good to know that you guys, have been able to learn a lot. Now, real quick, in wrapping up, Richard has an offer, right? Somebody asked a question. Falade asked a question, which was simple and straight to the point. Can you train me? Now, Richard, has an offer basically for just 2%. If you are serious about breaking into product management this year. Now, not for you, this is not an alternative. This is not a side thing. You are serious about breaking into product management this year and become the product manager, and you like to be mentored by Richard. As you can see, he has experience. He's worked on tons of projects for top companies, fintech companies in Nigeria and outside the country presently. So he has experience in all that stuff. And so if you would like to be mentored by him, this is an opportunity for just 2%, right? So what you're going to do to get this offer is, you are going to, his email address is going to put on the screen right now. So you are going to you're going to send him a mail, talking about why you want to become a product manager, right? Why you want to become a product manager, basically. Why you want to become a product manager. You're also going to, in the mail, you're going to attach your profile, your social media handles. Now, the reason for that is because Richard is a really busy person and all that stuff, basically, he wants to ensure that, because when you talk about mentorship, there has to be agreement, there has to be compatibility, right? So in that mail, talk about your why, attach your social media handles, basically LinkedIn first, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, as many platforms as you're on, any of these four, attach it to the mail basically, and send, that mail to Richards ike@gmail.com. Now, this mentorship is not free, right? So if you are serious about this, then you should be ready to sacrifice for your growth. You should be ready to pay, the price for your growth. Like I said, this is just for 2%, right? So send him a mail, right? Your why and your social media profiles to, the Gmail, handle that you can see. Part of the things that you'll be learning in the course of the mentorship, just give me a sec. Part of the things you'll be learning in the course of the mentorship, you'll be learning about product ideation and discovery. Product ideation and discovery. You'll be learning product validation, competitive analysis, and road mapping, right? You'll be learning, requirements gathering, documentation, and metrics definition. You'll be learning product implementation and agile project management. You'll be learning capstone project. That is, how to build a product from ideation to launch. But also, and basically, it will be full mentorship access to Richard and his network for coaching, for interview prep, or just idea validation. That is all of the package and so much more, and all that stuff, right? The cost of the mentorship is just 50,000 naira, right? Over the course of a couple months, basically. Like I said, it covers all of these things, and it's just for 2%, right? The reason why it is 2% is because Richard is a busy person, and for the mentorship to be of quality, there has to be quality time spent between Richard basically and you and all that. So if you're interested in this and you're serious about this, shoot a mail to the Gmail account on the screen, and after going through what you've sent and your profiles, he'll reach out to you basically for further consideration and for what to be next if you get to be taken. Right, guys, we have come to the end of the first session, and I am excited. This was a huge success. You guys, I'm sure you guys have learned a lot. There's a lot of fire, in the comments, and I'm just excited about this. So guys, this is just the first session in the Get Into Tech. We have 11 other sessions: web design, software development, blockchain development, artificial intelligence, right? Web design. Okay, I've called web design. There's so many of them. 11 other core career paths in tech. 11 other experts are going to be joining, the sessions. Basically, next week, Friday, we have web design, and Yusuf Odukoya, the founder of Branditecture, will be joining us live. What you can do, save the date, set your alarms for 7 p.m. same time next week, Friday. Invite your friends. Let them sign up, basically, and let them be part of this. Thank you so much, Richard. It was a pleasure hosting you. You're a busy person. You had to leave your family to come do this. Thank you so much. Get Into Tech is grateful, and I'm grateful, guys. So on to our next episode or next session next week. I will be seeing you again. I'm signing out. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you our audience for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. This video is going to be up for another 2 days for people who have missed this to watch. So get your friends to sign up and get them to come in and watch. Thank you so much, Richards. We will talk in the back end. Guys, see you until next week.